This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
On August 15th.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome,
Look at that.
crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2, rated R, only in theaters August 15th.
Whether you're watching college football or flipping between games on Sunday, sound quality matters. A Sonos home theater setup, especially the Arc Ultra soundbar, delivers immersive surround sound and deep bass that makes every play, every hit, and every cheer feel larger than life. And when you're on the go, the Sonos Ace headphones are a game changer. Lightweight, crystal clear, and with up to 30 hours of battery life, they're built for everything, from podcasts to post-game analysis. Visit Sonos.com to explore the full lineup.
Wasabi Technologies is purpose-built to free businesses from skyrocketing storage costs and unpredictable egress fees from those old and top-heavy legacy providers. You know, the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. From Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, to the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals, Wasabi is driving innovation in data storage, all for up to 80% less than those other guys. Try them out for free at wasabi.com.
This is your Color Me Confused leader, Fan Radio Network.
Excuse me?
And KFAN.com. 1 minute and 48 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. How many more weeks of daylight saving do we have? About a month?
No, it's about 2, right?
Leaves are about to turn, aren't they?
It's early October, right? Isn't
School
it?
starts in a month.
I'm aware, trust me.
State Fair is 2.5 weeks.
2 weeks from Thursday. Yeah.
2 weeks from this Thursday.
Yes, 2 weeks from Thursday.
Are we going to have a T-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Negotiations are ongoing?
No, I think we have a T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
I think
we'll
it's
talk
been
about
selected.
it off air. Yeah, because we want to build up the drama, because I know a lot of people
Announcements
will change everything for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My name is Dan Barreiro. I host the program. Guardsy produces on, well, for me, again, way too moist Monday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We can't, I mean, in all seriousness, I know the temperature's not absurd today. What is it?
76 here.
Will you check? I think the dew point's going up again. It's like, can we not have can we ever have like 8 consecutive days of nice summer weather with a low dew point?
Without smoke.
Well, that's true, too.
Because that's been one of the amendments.
That's true. That's been a part of it,
I think we had nice days, but 3 or 4 of them have had smoke in them.
But I take that. I took that okay because I hate humidity to that degree. I don't love the smoke, but I'm saying, well, at least the humidity's low.
Dew point is 59
That's too
today.
high.
That's
going up
approaching
again.
too high.
Yes.
Yeah, it's approaching too high.
It's unbelievable. So we had, I think, like 3 days of low dew point. We'll be here until 6:30 tonight. Aaron Gleeman's going to join us. I didn't even ask, is he on the phone or in studio?
Not only is he in studio.
Already here?
I don't know if he's already here, but he will be available to watch at KFAN.com/watch today.
Nice, okay.
So
even better.
Halvy's helping us out with that at 3:30.
Thank you, Halvy. So that's at 3:30. And then by telephone, we're assuming, because Johnny Athletic, we're lucky if he'll come in like once a month. No,
correct.
Once a year.
Once a
month.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he's going to be by telephone.
That's my understanding.
He's got no excuse because there's no school right now. 5:30. There's nothing. He could bring. You want to bring along the youngster? I don't care. Or both. He has 2, right?
Yes.
Bring them both.
Bring the family.
Bring the whole family.
Why
it's
not?
Fine. I have no problem.
Bring
with
a
that.
feed bag. Have dinner here.
Yeah. There's some options. There's some options around here. That's very true, Davey. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is open at 64686. We start, of course, with congratulations for your Minnesota Twins. They avoided the brooms. Was that in Cleveland yesterday?
Yeah, I believe so.
You doubted Erasmo Ramirez.
Everyday Erasmo.
Our new closer, ladies and gentlemen. How good did he look yesterday?
All he needed was a chance.
You know what I love about Erasmo, among other things? I think he's been with like 32 teams. How many teams are there in baseball? Over there, he
30,
all of
right?
them, I think.
There's
yeah.
16 and 14.
He harkens back to a different time when pitchers didn't have to necessarily be incredibly fit. You know what I'm saying?
David Wells,
Yeah.
CC Sabathia.
It was okay if you had a little extra beef on you. As long as you were good at getting the hitter out, nobody cared. And I'm guessing you probably stayed healthier that way. Because we've got some finely tuned athletes whose arms snap, their knees snap,
soft tissue
Achilles
injuries.
snap, the whole bit. Congratulations to where are we going next? Is it Detroit?
I believe it is Detroit.
Detroit next.
Yeah,
So we did
today,
avoid
starting tonight.
We did avoid the sweep for sure. Hey, be thankful you're not in Fargo. 71% humidity and 64 dew point. Well, that means that's heading our way.
Wow,
right?
That is oppressive.
That's very tropical.
Tibbs weather.
That's true. I am very. I'm hoping you can help me on this. I find myself this Monday evening, first day of the work week, quite confused. Not confused that there's frustration in the WNBA right now regarding inappropriate items that are being thrown onto the court. Right? I understand that frustration. Like, come on. Seriously? Although, you know the difficulty. The greater attention we bring to it and that players bring to it, the more likely more of those items are going to be thrown. Correct? Isn't that the way it works?
A lot of times, yeah.
It's like it's a no-win situation. You can't ignore it. But what struck me is, what had me confused is, let me see if I can find the exact quote here. This is from New York Liberty power forward Isabel Harrison. You familiar with her?
Yeah.
Arena security. Hello. Do better. It's not funny. Never was funny. Throwing anything on the court is so dangerous. Security's going to get ripped? You serious? Security is going to get ripped for, that's an item, based on what I've seen thrown on the court, that I'm guessing can be pretty easily hidden on a person. Somewhere.
It's not going to trigger a metal detector.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, not some of them.
Some of them might. This one didn't appear so.
Unlikely. Security, do better. You know I love the do better quote.
Yep.
So now we've got even security being ripped in the WNBA, not to mention fans are getting ripped. Did you hear what they were ripped for not that long ago? They had, in the case of the what's the Indiana team? The Fever?
The Fever, yeah.
The Indiana Fever fans got destroyed. It was last week, or maybe it was late the week before. They got ripped for having the audacity to boo a former member of the team, Dewana Bonner.
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did.
One of her, is it Kalia? Am I pronouncing that right? Kalia Cooper? Kalia Copper, I should say. She basically called it the booing. This was I think it was last Wednesday in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I just don't understand, Copper said, following the Mercury's 107-101 loss. Like, she's a legend. All the things she's done for the league, the disrespect, I can't get down with it. Are you kidding me? She quit on the team. She was so unhappy on the club, she basically went away. She just disappeared. And we're actually going to be surprised. You may not love it, but you're going to be surprised that when she first appeared back in the same arena playing for the other team, that there are people who might voice their displeasure. They didn't throw anything onto the court. That would have been too far. They had the audacity, think about it, to boo. So you tell me what's going on in the WNBA. Because I I, for the life of me, don't understand it. Refs get ripped indiscriminately and endlessly. Ownership gets ripped. Security now gets ripped. Fans get ripped. But don't you dare ever think of criticizing a player. Well, other than, of course, Caitlin Clark, who isn't getting ripped all that much now because she's still not playing, right? Yeah. She hasn't played in a long time, right? Or don't you dare ever ask a tough question. Is there any leadership in this league as it shows all the signs of taking off to the next level? Is there anybody who can bring any sort of common sense into the discussion? The one group that cannot be criticized without facing the wrath of the WNBA community is another, as I said, a player. I don't. Now, I will give credit to a couple people. See if I can find it. I think I knocked my paper over. Hold on a second.
A couple of Lynx players actually deserve some credit in the booing situation. That's
where I'm going next.
Yep.
They apparently get it. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, that's about the stuff being thrown onto the court. Here it is. Here we go. I guess it's a good sign. Maybe we've got a couple players who understand it, and those players are Heidemann and Courtney Williams, right?
The stud buds.
That's correct. If you left Minnesota tomorrow, they would boo the bleep out of you, Heidemann said to Williams. Booing is a sign of respect, Williams responded. That's like Kyrie. Every time he goes back to Boston, it comes with the sport. I applaud them. I applaud because they're the only players I seem to have heard from willing to face reality and even understand that it's a sign of health. It's a sign of crossing over, not a sign of disrespect. Now, again, if you're throwing stuff out there, you're throwing out epithets you shouldn't, those are bridges too far. We get that. But in this case especially, this player quit on the franchise.
They're going to notice.
Now, she may have had her reasons. I have no idea. I don't know the background on that story, but come on. What are we doing? Oh, also, let's credit the head coach. Let me see if I can find that quote, because it's also very, very helpful. Where did it go? Well, I thought I had I thought it was the Phoenix coach who basically said, look, come on, man. That's how sports works. And that's absolutely true. It's how sports are supposed to work. I'm not sure the WNBA understands that, or too many people in it. The moment there's any discussion about, sowing any sort of division or seeds of discontent, it's like, that's not the message that we're trying to send. Well, then you can continue to be this cute little league if you want to, but you're not going to cross over the way that you want to. So the surest sign this league is going to take the next step is when it's going to be permissible to not only rip the refs, ownership, security, and those hateful fans, but players get pushed back on. Not rebounding enough. This player's got to shoot better. How often, in all seriousness, how often do you even see or read stories that attempt to analyze players on that level, individually? Something that happens routinely in the NBA. And by the way, not all the criticism is going to be warranted, or necessarily it's subjective. You don't even have to agree with it. But when do we ever have the kind of basic discourse about, that player's got to play harder? They got to get more out of so-and-so. That's not working. You tell me, among WNBA media members, I don't read it. I don't see it. Do you?
Not a ton.
I mean, Cheryl Reeve will do it.
Yes.
Because she's frustrated with something her team, how specific she'll get. Sometimes she'll get very specific. But it's just, the whole thing is just so It absolutely makes no sense to me. There were a couple of podcasts where it was the same thing. In fact, I don't remember who the two individuals were, but they actually got in an argument about, well, yeah, the player, if Bonner just left. She just disappeared for a while. So, yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of enmity or a little bit of frustration, or it may be as simple as we just want to remind you we haven't forgotten that you quit on us, right? Now, maybe it wasn't a good fit. Maybe it wasn't a good place for her to play. I don't, that's another issue entirely.
Jimmy Butler didn't love coming here.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
What happened? It's curious, but I feel like, again, it's getting worse, not better. And I think it's because it's the old deal of unless you have people in authority who are willing to have these sorts of conversations to say, even if they have to be private, to sit people down in a room and say, man, I don't know what you guys think you want to be. But what you want to be is more money, more fame, more exposure, more conversation, then you gotta understand this is what's going to come with the territory. Doesn't mean you have to always love it. Doesn't even mean you can't push back from time to time. But there's so much tiptoeing in this league. It's bizarre to me. And it's, as I said, we've talked about it from time to time, but these are new ones. Even the security people. How dare you not anticipate where in a huge arena or even a mid-sized arena that somebody throwing a sex toy, where it might come from.
And I think they've made an arrest in that case, by the way.
They did, rightly so.
So there you go.
Bizarre. We'll make this our first pause. Gleeman, as I said, will join us.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
On August 15th.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome,
Look at that.
crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2, rated R, only in theaters August 15th.
Whether you're watching college football or flipping between games on Sunday, sound quality matters. A Sonos home theater setup, especially the Arc Ultra soundbar, delivers immersive surround sound and deep bass that makes every play, every hit, and every cheer feel larger than life. And when you're on the go, the Sonos Ace headphones are a game changer. Lightweight, crystal clear, and with up to 30 hours of battery life, they're built for everything, from podcasts to post-game analysis. Visit Sonos.com to explore the full lineup.
This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal can help you find and finance the right vehicle with ease. And this summer, you're in the driver's seat with savings. You can get a $250 bonus when you buy your next car through Navy Federal's car buying service, powered by TrueCar and financed with Navy Federal. With this tool, you can find the vehicle that's right for you as you search through inventory and compare models. And you could get an amazing rate when you finance with Navy Federal. Navy Federal strives to support all active duty, veterans, and their families to achieve their personal and financial goals. And this partnership with TrueCar is one of the many tools Navy Federal uses to help its members. Make your plan with Navy Federal and TrueCar today. Navy Federal Credit Union. To qualify for the $250 bonus, car purchase and financing must be completed by September 2nd, 2025. Terms and conditions apply and are available at NavyFederal.org/TrueCar. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
At the bottom. Dan, you finally changed your tune on this subject, WNBA. Finally, but I would call you out constantly about not ripping on Waylon or holding her to the subjectivity you would have any male coach. You used to wear gloves and ducky and bunnied when talking about Reeves and the Lynx. Refreshing. It's about time. You're making 605 guy or gal, you're making it up as you go along. Utterly and completely. You're conveniently leaving out a couple of fairly crucial points. Cheryl Reeve has been literally the most successful professional coach in this town. Period. End of story. To that extent, she should have equity. And to that extent, kid gloves, it's no. More, I guess you could say, patience in between going for championships. So I don't know what you're smoking. And by the way, on certain issues with Reeve, we have been critical all along. She and I have argued about lots of things over the years. I've disagreed with her about the Caitlin Clark stuff. That's not new. But let's not mix apples and oranges here. She has accomplished more than other coaches, professional coaches in this town. Therefore, it's not even close. So therefore, she's earned duckies and bunnies for winning championships. We've even said when it comes to the debate, the ongoing debate about who do we pass on in the draft, who's with Chicago, Angel Reese, that I think they should have drafted her. But we said even that discussion's complicated by the fact that the team made it to the last game, WNBA Finals, best of 5, the decisive game 5 last year. And they have this year the best record in the league. This was before they went out and made a significant trade, I might add, to bolster their perimeter defense. I think the legitimate question asked there is, you could make the argument what they need more than anything is front court help. But she's a very good defensive player, and maybe they said, we're going to take what we can get under these conditions, even though you gave up. Didn't we give up a player taken number 2 overall in the draft?
Diamond Miller.
Diamond Miller was taken second in the draft.
Who never really got a crack here.
Very true, Davey. But I don't know exactly what you're looking for here. And it sounds like I said, Waylon, as he talking about as a college coach, I think we had some pretty hard conversations. In fact, we had difficult conversations with Waylon or about Waylon that go back to probably her last reemergence in the WNBA, where the head coach challenged her a little bit about getting herself in a better physical condition. So please don't rewrite history. Agree or disagree, I'm fine with that, but don't even come close to rewrite history. Not false, he says. When Waylon dismissed a star player several years ago, crickets. If it had been Patino, many segments would have been spent. We did talk about it. We didn't ignore it. If you're asking me, should I have criticized Waylon harder for that decision? I didn't disagree with the decision. The job isn't to feel obligated to go after a coach because an individual in the audience feels that way. My job is to do insighting, talk to people, read some things, and then come to some conclusions. Waylon did not succeed, the fan has learned, as a Gopher women's basketball coach. She wouldn't deny that. We've talked about that with her. So I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but like I said, your answers to what I'm saying, which changes the subject again, tells me that you're not paying attention, or you're not making a distinction between the Reeve record and the record of several other coaches that you could say, yeah, we may have questioned more often or been harder on. I don't know exactly what it is for you to help. Gleeman's in the house already?
Of course, he's ready.
That's outstanding. Reminder, Johnny Athletic is coming up at 5:30 today. He can answer this question. Did we already send down our closer? Is that true? Erasmo closed last game. Is he already back down? Do you know, Gleeman? Is that true? Somebody's texting me on that. They're just trying to get me going because I'm all excited about him.
He says he thinks he's still here.
Think he's still here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How could you send him down?
I don't have any idea. Well, it's the Twins. Right now, anything seems possible. My guess, can we cut him and clear and get any money for him on waivers if we put him on waivers now that we're past the trade deadline, the big trade deadline?
Maybe it was cheaper to put him back on AAA and put him on a bus to Toledo than it was to let him fly with the team to Detroit.
It's absolutely unbelievable. All right, let's do this. Let's pause for the bottom of the hour break, and we'll get to plenty of baseball. It's the first chance to chat with Gleeman on air since tumultuous is too positive a term, an embarrassing episode. I think that's saying a lot, one of the most embarrassing episodes in the history of a Minnesota Twins franchise that, yes, does have 2 World Series rings and titles. That's the irony of it all, but that does seem like right now to be very much a distant memory. Questions for him? Hit the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, 64686.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
On August 15th.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome,
Look at that.
crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2. Rated R. Only in theaters August 15th.
Whether you're watching college football or flipping between games on Sunday, sound quality matters. A Sonos home theater setup, especially the Arc Ultra soundbar, delivers immersive surround sound and deep bass that makes every play, every hit, and every cheer feel larger than life. And when you're on the go, the Sonos Ace headphones are a game changer. Lightweight, crystal clear, and with up to 30 hours of battery life, they're built for everything, from podcasts to post-game analysis. Visit Sonos.com to explore the full lineup.
This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal can help you find and finance the right vehicle with ease. And this summer, you're in the driver's seat with savings. You can get a $250 bonus when you buy your next car through Navy Federal's car buying service, powered by TrueCar and financed with Navy Federal. With this tool, you can find the vehicle that's right for you as you search through inventory and compare models. And you could get an amazing rate when you finance with Navy Federal. Navy Federal strives to support all active duty, veterans, and their families to achieve their personal and financial goals. And this partnership with TrueCar is one of the many tools Navy Federal uses to help its members. Make your plan with Navy Federal and TrueCar today. Navy Federal Credit Union. To qualify for the $250 bonus, car purchase and financing must be completed by September 2nd, 2025. Terms and conditions apply and are available at NavyFederal.org/TrueCar. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Back in the... agree with 605 guy writes, Chris, you're so ducky and bunny on Reeve that she'll no longer come on your show. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but it is true that I would say battle's the wrong word. The challenge goes back to the last time we were trying to get Reeve on was before the Olympics. And it was about, I said, look, this doesn't have to be the meat of our conversation, but I'm going to have to ask you about that whole deal. This is via DMing or texting, whatever. And she said, I can't talk about that. So then I don't even know if I answered her, but at that point, it's like, well, no, I can't in my right mind. Because I think I even said, you're pretty good at deflecting. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes on it, but you got to understand, I can't ignore it. It's too big a story at this point. And so this whole thing gets kind of silly. Anyway, Platt. Why do I think Adam Platt? Because I was texting him earlier today.
I know Adam Platt.
No idea. Do you know Adam Platt?
Yeah.
Why do I think of you? Aaron Gleeman is not Adam Platt, I don't think.
Curmudgeonly.
Yeah, curmudgeonly.
Sort
perhaps.
of.
Crusty.
Brilliant writer.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it a little bit.
Does he enjoy Asian food as much as you do?
Well, I can't imagine no one does.
Are you still, is that ongoing?
A little less.
Oh,
lately.
seriously?
Well,
okay.
Here's what happened.
Well, go ahead.
Yangtze, which is right
Yeah,
near here,
right.
will no longer deliver.
What?
So that has changed my entire life over the past 6 months or so.
What's that about?
I think they're just doing so well in takeout that
they don't need to mess with
dine in. It's like, why bother?
So that changed everything for you?
I want to say there is one fatso in Northeast who's really losing his life with his enjoyment of all things, but I don't think they seem to care really. Yeah. But what are you going to do? So I've moved on now. You got a new
a
Indian
new
food,
goat?
Mediterranean
so you're mixing it up.
Various other combinations of chicken, rice, and some sauce. That's really what I go for, if I'm being honest.
Well, you know what you like.
Yeah, that is really.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Pretty much
It's important to know.
Yeah. So if there are any people considering opening a Chinese restaurant in the greater Twin Cities area, give me something on campus Northeast, and I can guarantee you upwards of, I'll say, at least $5,000 a year in business.
Chicken,
just from
rice, and sauce.
Yeah, just any combination of that will work, really. And it has to be delivered, because I'm nothing if not lazy.
At Yangtze, what was the favorite sauce?
I go Mandarin chicken.
Okay.
You go sweet and sour. Really,
you can't lose.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Really. You can't go right.
It is good.
White rice or fried rice?
It is good.
Why limit yourself?
Well, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Yes. The answer is yes.
Chicken fried rice, shrimp fried rice is another meat in it with the.
If I'm really feeling good about myself, if I've really written something good that day, recorded a good podcast, something, then go shrimp fried rice. But just day to day, a little chicken fried rice.
Have you ever eaten at a Chinese restaurant called Great Wall? I want to say it's like 44th.
I think
France, is it?
Yeah. Is it still there?
When we lived uptown, I think we ate there twice a week.
Yeah.
I loved that place. Is it still open?
I think.
Yeah. It's a smaller
pretty
spot.
sure I've been there.
Yeah.
Kind of in a strip mall.
I've been to pretty much any Chinese place in there, yeah.
Is the buffet still a thing at Yangtze? Like at lunch?
Yes. And there is an actual Chinese buffet here about 3 blocks further called Supermoon.
Yes.
Which John Bonus and I, when we are planning out our next plans for the podcast,
yes,
that is our business location that we go sit at and gorge on food and then try to make money off the podcast, basically.
By the way, people can watch Aaron Gleeman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, great discussion
Who
for that.
wouldn't want to after this orange chicken talk?
If you're watching me and you're saying, how does he look like that?
No, that's unnecessary. Self-deprecating to a fault.
Where's the camera? Am I looking at the camera?
I think it's the one right there.
Hi, everyone.
No, right here, right in front of you.
Oh, okay.
See that little? Yeah, that's
too close. Yeah.
That is close. It's too close for both of us.
Is this HD? Because
you're in good frame. You look good.
I'm more of a SD.
You know what ruined buffets for me? As a guy who used to grow up on buffets, and even in college, you get obviously it's bang for your buck. Indiana University in the Union, they had a room. It's called the Tudor Room, and every Friday they had a buffet. God, it was just awesome. Anyway, but I turned on buffets ever since the motion picture Fargo.
Okay.
Do you know the buffet scene in Fargo?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've seen that multiple times.
The buffet scene in Fargo is the cop played by Frances McDormand from Brainerd comes down to the big city because she's investigating some of the crime. And she ends up, I don't remember what the place was, but she ended up at a buffet spot, and the food looked so gross, and there was so much of it piled on top of each other. You know, chicken and seafood and pork and whatever. And it was like, ever since then, I felt differently about the whole concept. Now, they were doing that on purpose because they were mocking everything about Minnesota, as you know. But ever since then, I felt differently about the whole concept of the buffet. Discriminate on your buffets?
Like you're there to, I guess, enjoy yourself, but the goal really is when you get home, you're going to nap or you're just going to sit there and kind of feel bad about yourself. There's something built-in element to that where it's like somehow appealing. I don't know why.
It's hard to do the buffet and then come in here and do 3.5 hours.
That is definitely true.
I don't remember the last time I've done that. I used to do it working 9 to noon all the time.
Did you really?
Just pop by after the show.
That makes more sense.
Well, after, then it's like...
And then go work out?
No, please. Gleeman will.
Anyone in the history of the Supermoon Buffet in St. Louis Park has ever gone directly from there to work out intentionally?
Guilt a little bit, no?
There's no chance.
Gleeman, I think I've told you this before, but my Yangtze experience, I had gone there so frequently in the 9 to noon days that a lot of times when I would walk in at 12:08, the owner, the server, whoever would say, "We'll have the beef and broccoli out there shortly."
Oh, I can beat that.
Because she just knew that that's what I was going to get. And the Mountain Dew would be there as well.
That, to me, is a real badge of honor for any restaurant when you're at that level of regular. Because when I used to live, when I was like a teenager, because Yangtze, I've been going to Yangtze since I was like 12, my family.
Okay.
And I used to live in Minnetonka at my mom's house, and I would call to go pick it up, and they would see our name on the caller ID, and the lady would just answer and say 15, 20 minutes and hang up. Because she would know I ordered the exact same thing every time. And I really am proud of that.
So, Guardsy, did you try to erase the guilt about eating the beef? Because I'm having broccoli with it. The broccoli was the healthy thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
I like to get something with a little carrots and baby corn, make you feel like you're really in a health kick.
I do like beef and broccoli does feel healthier. And it can be.
Yeah, okay.
The 50 Mountain Dews I would have probably didn't help.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to start our conversation, Twins and baseball related. Aaron Gleeman, not Adam Platt, Aaron Gleeman, with a couple of comments from a Bob Nightingale USA Today commentary in which he wrote the following. It was ugly, outrageous, unfathomable, disgraceful, perhaps the most stunning and quickest fire sale in baseball history. The Twins traded away their soul. Is he right? Is he too harsh? Is he not harsh enough? What do you think?
I mean, he's right that I don't think anybody has traded more players in a shorter period of time right ahead of the deadline. Like if you look at, 48 hours up to the deadline, they traded 10 guys. I think that is a record that is true. I think there are probably fire sales, and I will call this a fire sale for sure. I think there are fire sales that have involved bigger name players. Like, yes, Correa is a huge name in the baseball world, but there have been fire sales. I'm thinking back to like the Florida Marlins or something like that 20 years ago, where they've traded a couple All-Stars, 2 or 3 All-Stars. The Twins didn't do that. Theirs was more just the sheer volume of the players they're moving and the fact that they weren't, 30 games below 500. They were like 5 games below 500. And I'm not going to say they shouldn't have sold. I leading up to the deadline, I think even last time I was in here a couple weeks ago, we were like, they're going to sell their impending free agents. They maybe will sell one reliever or something like that.
Yeah.
And they just ended up doing all of it. And obviously the Correa part getting folded in at the last minute was a big change for people. So I think it's maybe overblown in the sense that, and I read that article, it was a really good article. There were a few tidbits in that that I thought were interesting and hadn't been reported elsewhere.
Sort of about the sequence that led to ultimately the Correa trade, right?
And how the owners were kind of interacting and that pushed it along and all that. So do I think, 20 years from now, people are going to remember this deadline as like some big, huge moment in Twins history? Maybe not. Like you said on the segment before this, there's been a lot of bad moments in Twins history. There's been a lot of trades that people regret in Twins history. I don't know that this is going to stand the test of time and be at the top of the list, but it was shocking. The sheer volume that they traded away is shocking. The kind of sequence of events, how it just, okay, they're trading some impending free agents. Oop, okay, Duran. Oh, wow, they're just going to dump Correa, and then the floodgates just open to the point that Jax and Varland get traded right at the deadline, basically. People didn't even find out about the Varland one until about 10 minutes after the deadline. So it was a shock, and I think it doesn't, in my mind at least, it doesn't speak well to the plan for 2026. Because, we talked to Falvey right afterward, and I've, talked to some other Twin sources and stuff since then, and their thing is, well, we still got Buxton, we still got Joe Ryan, we still have Pablo Lopez, we still have fill in the blank. First of all, you couldn't have traded Pablo Lopez. He's hurt. He makes 20-something million a year. It wouldn't shock me if they trade him this offseason. It wouldn't shock me if they trade Joe Ryan this offseason. I agree. Because they were at least engaged in talks for Joe Ryan. Buxton can't be traded, so you don't get an extra gold star for that
unless he changes his mind. Right. Doesn't want to be here anymore after all this nonsense.
Yeah, and so when I look at all that, it's hard to say, yes, they still have a core that can win in 2026, because it's the same core that didn't win this year and didn't win last year, and now you have no bullpen. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but I've never seen, and I truly don't think this has ever happened, where a team that has 5 good relievers, which the Twins did have, I'll put their top 5, it's not the best in the league, but it's up there. They traded all 5. I've never seen that. To the point now that you have Cole Sands and your guy Erasmo Ramirez trying to finish out games here, and
who, by the way, might have gone to a Chinese food buffet every once in a while.
Yes, I'm just
suggesting there's that possibility.
I would like to share some kung pao chicken with him.
I'm not looking down on that concept at all.
So it's not like, okay, even if the starting pitching is pretty decent next year, they hold on to Ryan, they hold on to Lopez. The lineup has been an issue for a year and a half now. And the bullpen, which I would argue as of a week ago was probably the only strength on the entire team, is now not only a weakness, but it's just been scorched earth, blown to pieces. And I don't know how you realistically rebuild that, because it's not like they're going to go out and sign a bunch of relievers.
No.
They're going to probably look to find some scrap heap guys, which, some of the guys who they just traded away are, starters who had injuries, starters who struggled. Louis Varland was a starter who didn't have good results, moved to the bullpen, succeeds. Same with Jax. You can make a bullpen out of scrap heap and ex-starters and injury guys, and I expect them to try to do that, but it's asking an awful lot to have that in place for next year or even 2027 for that matter.
So here's, we're going to talk about the way you sort of attempted to evaluate some of these deals and who might end up helping the Twins the most. I'm wondering if this came up with Falvey, though, because I felt like a number of these deals directly contradicted what was supposed to be the Twins' philosophy that they told us they believed in, which was, well, eventually when we get down towards the end of contracts for good players and we're not convinced that we're going to have the means to re-sign them, that's when we make our move.
Right.
But when we have long-term control over players who are productive, we don't consider trading those unless we get blown away. And I don't think you think any more than the rest of us did on any of these deals they necessarily got blown away. So how does Falvey, because Falvey tried to almost picture that, this is what we do. It's not fun now. It looks bad. Remember a couple of the names, including our closer who we just traded away. You never even heard of him when he came the other direction. But to me, this doesn't really even, he can't justify the series of moves if he truly believes in the philosophy that he said is really the mantra that governs the way this organization operates.
Yeah, I think baseball works under a salary system where once a guy debuts, you have them for 6 years of team control. And if they get sent down, it can be longer than 6 years, but 6 years of service time. And for the first 3 years, a guy makes the minimum salary. And then they start to get bumps. Year 4, you go to arbitration. And then after 6 years, you go to free agency. So to your point, they try to develop guys from within. That's been the case for 50 years of the Twins because they can't go out and sign free agents. Right. But the problem is, you have a guy like Duran, let's say, who is an incredibly good outcome that you got in the Eduardo Escobar trade when he was a single-A prospect. That's a huge developmental success story. Former starter, got hurt. They moved him to the bullpen. He's been one of the best relievers in baseball over the last 4 years. He's in year 4 of 6 years of control in, year 3.5, really, and you're trading him away. Same thing with Jax. With Varlin, he has 5 more years of team control.
2031, you said, right?
30 is his last year.
30, okay.
And he'll have a minimum salary next year. Like, it's not like he's getting a raise. And so to your point, when you're now trading guys away who are both cheap and you're like halfway through or less, in the case of Varlin, of their team control, and then you're going to position it as, well, don't worry, we brought in a bunch of prospects who 3 years from now we can add to the roster, and then what, 2.5 years, 3 years after that, you're just going to trade them. It's a tough cycle to have success with, particularly because they haven't had that many successes, especially, I would say, on the hitting side of player development. A lot of the guys, whether it's Royce Lewis, Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner, guys like that, they've taken a step backward. Eddie Julian, Jose Miranda, the guys that they thought were going to be the offensive core. And if you look at what they received in this trade, or these trades, they got 13 players back. I would say 5 or 6 of them have a chance to be at least regulars in the majors. Maybe 3 or 4 of them have a chance to be above average, or a couple have all-star capability. I wasn't blown away. I think in a lot of these cases, I'm not against the baseline idea of cashing in relievers.
No, I'm not either.
I think they tend to burn bright and fade away. I think they can be replaced internally easier than starters or position players. But the problem is, and he kind of talked about this on the Zoom we did with him that night after the deadline, was, well, we felt like trading these guys at the deadline, contending teams are sort of in a frenzy when they need bullpen help. The Phillies always need bullpen help. We feel like we can get, I think he said, a bullpen premium, where we think we can sort of get a $1.25 on the dollar for these guys. That's all fine in theory, but that equation has to actually work. And I think at the end, when I look at either individually or the 13 guys they got and the 11 guys they sent out, I just don't see that much impact potential beyond, I would say, 3 or 4 names total out of the 13.
Was this decree? Do you have any reason to believe that this was decreed, despite the words of Falvey, somehow decreed from above?
Well, I asked him that in what I thought was pretty straightforward ways 2 or 3 times on the post-deadline Zoom. He, I would say, kind of danced around it a little bit, which, I didn't expect any different.
Right.
It's a difficult situation. He's never going to say, hey, what do you want me to do? The owners told me to slash payroll. But I think what is undeniable, you can just lay out the facts here. They've slashed payroll compared to 2 years ago. The team has been up for sale for 9 or 10 months now. There's some indication that I've seen that they're getting potentially close to selling, which I think would be a very positive thing for the Twins and their fans, but also we've heard that before over the last 9 or 10 months. And just the facts of it are, regardless of the talent leaving and the talent coming in, they shed roughly $25 million immediately. But over the next 2 months, they're going to save $25 million. And then for next year, in terms of arbitration raises and guaranteed contracts, they shed about 40-something million. And so if you just sort of landed here from Mars and someone told you that, maybe you don't try to connect the dots and trace it back to ownership. But we know so much about their current situation or the last 40 years of Pohlad ownership.
It's impossible
that I personally am not naive enough to sit here and say these were all baseball trades. These were a front office acting independently, particularly because now Falvey has a dual role where he's baseball operations and president of the business side. He knows where the sale progress is. He knows what the books look like. And so if you are in a situation where you are paying the Houston Astros $33 million to take back $71 million of Carlos Correa's remaining contract, you're doing that to dump salary. They also saved, like I said, a total of $25 million with that included immediately. And when you start to look at their claimed losses, whether it's the 400 and something million over the last X number of years, or Bob Nightingale's article suggested that you just quoted, suggested that they think they're going to lose $40 million this year. Well, let's go along with that, which I have a hard time believing. How do you lose $40 million on a team that has a $135 million payroll? But let's set that aside. Let's say they were on pace to lose $40 million. They just got $25 million of that right back. I have a very hard time believing that was not at least some level of domino effect or trickle down from the very top. And when you look at they didn't cover any salaries. It's common for teams to cover some salary so that they get back better prospects, because some teams can't take on the full salary. You'll notice the Twins did not send a dime in any of these trades other than the Correa trade, the entire purpose of which was to shed $71 million. And so when you look at the end result and you say, this seems like kind of an underwhelming pile of players that you've gotten back, I think it's impossible not to connect the dots and go, well, they didn't send any money back. They made some of these deals driven by, just saving money, but also they weren't necessarily willing to take back the highest upside players. If those players were 19, 20, 21 years old, a lot of the guys they got, they traded Brock Stewart for a 28-year-old. They traded Griffin Jacks for a 24-year-old. Like, these are guys who have been in the majors already, and that also makes me think they didn't want to take a big step backward for whatever reason.
I want to advance another theory that I've heard from the beginning that I don't buy, but I want to get your view on it. This comes from Kyle out of Isanti. Is it a possibility there's a new owner they're in talks with and wanted the Twins to clean house before they moved in so they didn't look like the bad guys? Right. This is the one theory. Someone's going to have to explain to me why a prospective new owner would be thrilled about these moves. Maybe Correa, because we'll talk about that later, but these series of moves, cleaning out, as you've written, the top 5 relief pitchers. This is a conspiracy theory that sounds good around the water cooler, but doesn't make much sense to me. Does it to you, or am I missing something?
I mean, I could definitely see the argument for anybody coming in any business setting wants the books as clean as possible so that they can start to ramp up and they can choose who to invest in. But other than Correa, these were not even guaranteed salaries.
Right.
Griffin Jacks or Duran's going to make $8 to $10 million next year via arbitration, which means right now, today, he's not guaranteed anything for next year. If he blows out his arm, the Phillies can just cut him now. And also, those aren't expensive contracts necessarily. I mean, to pay $10 million for a all-star level closer is something Philadelphia will gladly do. And so I don't really quite connect those dots on that front. I do think there is some benefit if you're a new owner, you come in and you don't have any existing contracts that you didn't want. However, for the following 3 seasons, there's going to be a $10 million marker on those books that is just going to nothing.
Exactly.
It's going to not having your starting shortstop, basically. And I can't really see anybody being all that thrilled about that. It's a difficult situation, but it continues basically since 2023, October of 2023. Every step along the way has been just sort of kneecapping their own interests. You shed payroll, you go through basically 2.5 years where you bring no talent in, you get kind of a stasis with your core because you're not supplementing it, and also you haven't done a really good job kind of developing, especially on the hitting side. You have some injuries, then all of a sudden Correa's contract looks a lot tougher to take or handle because now it's a quarter of the payroll instead of a fourth of the payroll, something like that. And he's been injured or he hasn't performed as well. That part, we can talk about later. It seems like a very dark period for the team and the fans especially, and the fans are now in year 2 of everything just sort of chopping them down a step or two. And as I sit here now, I don't see this changing unless there is just new owners in place.
Yeah.
And I do think that is going to happen at some point, but I've been saying that now for 10 months, and it's a bad place to be in where it's like nothing can really save us from this except for the very top of this thing changing.
And even then, there's no guarantee.
Right, it's a coin flip at that point.
Because they're walking into a badly damaged product in a number of fronts, but at least it's a different voice at the top. Lavelle keeps saying his prediction is we will identify, or the new ownership will be identified by the end of this regular season. Do you buy that? Do you think it's that fast? Are you that optimistic?
I could see that. I mean, they're going to be incentivized. If it's close, they're going to be incentivized to get it done before the end of the World Series so that new owner can be at the head of the snake as they go into the offseason. Because we saw, for instance, at the trade deadline, I mean, if you go back to this time, or let's say January, the hope was, it'd be great to have an owner in place for opening day, but that seems unlikely. Right. At least maybe you have it in place by June so that they can be in charge and they can maybe invest at the trade deadline. Well, that came and went, obviously. And now the next mile marker is the start of, November, basically. Because if you don't have new ownership in place for the start of the offseason, then I think they're going to trade Pablo Lopez, or they might trade Joe Ryan or something along those lines, because we know they're not going to spend any money. They haven't spent any money on anything since 2023 ended. And it's just this influx state that makes it very difficult to improve. And as we're seeing, it incentivizes shedding talent and shedding money. And I don't know how they're not good enough at player development and to withstand that. I mean, there are teams like the Rays and at points over the last 20 years, the Twins, who have a super low payroll. They churn through veterans, they trade for prospects. But this organization over the last 5 years especially has just not shown the ability to develop the stars that you need to do that.
We know it's not good baseball.
That's for sure, Rocco. We'll get to Rocco later. We'll get to Correa later. Senior athletic writer Aaron Gleeman is in studio with us. We'll get to some more texts as well after a brief top of the hour pause.
Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
On August 15th,
No. I need a vacation.
see the movie that critics are saying is an awesome,
Look at that.
crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2, rated R, only in theaters August 15th.
Whether you're watching college football or flipping between games on Sunday, sound quality matters. A Sonos home theater setup, especially the Arc Ultra soundbar, delivers immersive surround sound and deep bass that makes every play, every hit, and every cheer feel larger than life. And when you're on the go, the Sonos Ace headphones are a game changer. Lightweight, crystal clear, and with up to 30 hours of battery life, they're built for everything, from podcasts to post-game analysis. Visit Sonos.com to explore the full lineup.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.